Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a horror film, The Maid. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. The film begins with a maid sharing her creepy and unforgettable moments about a monkey doll owned by a little girl, Nid. The noises it made still haunt her, and she's certain that it wasn't a manifestation of her imagination because it follows her everywhere she goes. This pushes her to resign, and her employer, Uma, a very sophisticated and gorgeous woman, calmly accepts her resignation and immediately looks for another maid. The maid also tells the professional that there was a terrifying woman that she can't correctly describe, and when she told other people about it, they thought she was delusional. After she leaves, Nid gets diagnosed with FTD syndrome, a rare genetic brain disorder that causes forgetfulness, confusion, and hallucinations. So Uma and her husband need to understand her condition. Later on, the new maid Joy arrives at their mansion, where she's welcomed by the strict head housemaid. The head housemaid gives her instructions and reminds her of a maid's duties in the household while giving her a tour. More importantly, she must not pry into the affairs of their employers. Fortunately, it's not much of a problem for her, as she's well-behaved and a quick learner. The head housemaid takes her to Nid, who has never been out after her diagnosis. She briefly informs Joy about Nid's mental illness, and then continues with the tour and the reminders. After that, the driver takes her to the fancy cabin by the road, where she will be staying alone. While checking the uniform on herself in the mirror, Joy notices someone staring at her from the stairs. It quickly runs upstairs, so although scared, Joy checks who it is, but she finds nothing. She returns to her bed and reads all the rules and regulations for a maid in a foreigner's house. A flashback plays, revealing that she has work experience with a foreigner. The flashback ends, and Joy wakes up to the sound of the door creaking. She watches in fear as the door opens slowly, but a woman's ghost suddenly shows herself from her side. Joy jumps in her bed and sighs in relief after realizing it was just a nightmare. Later that morning, the head housemaid introduces Joy to Uma, who intimidates her with questions about her recent job and family. Joy tries her best to impress Uma, but she remains bemused. Later that day, Joy sings a psalm to Nid until she falls asleep. After that, she walks away to leave when she suddenly feels a presence staring at her. She turns around, but it has already vanished. While doing the laundry, Joy accidentally bumps into Uma's husband, who leaves after asking her name. Later that day, Joy cannot help but notice the heavy tension surrounding the family. After dinner, Joy bathes Nid, and while she does so, she questions the girl about her parents. Nid shares that her parents never took her out, so Joy asks her where she would like to go if she had a chance. Nid replies that it doesn't matter where it is, as long as she gets out. After hearing Nid's sad response, Joy drops the subject and plays with her using bath bubbles. But then, Nid suddenly stops playing and looks at the door, catching Joy's attention. She checks the hallways, but there's no one. As she looks in the mirror, she finds the ghost standing behind her. She quickly vanishes as Joy turns around, but she finishes bathing Nid before asking her about the ghost. She doesn't make a big deal out of it and just works. After that, she reads a bedtime story about a farming family with two daughters who love each other. Despite their social status, they were happy and pleased with their lives, but they were forced to be separated later. Joy doesn't finish the story, as Nid has already fallen asleep. For some reason, Joy held the book in her hands, her eyes teary as she remembered something. Not even long after she fell asleep, Nid wakes up after sensing a presence in her room. As she wanders her eyes, the ghost suddenly faces her, leaving her speechless from fear. Meanwhile, Joy sneaks into Uma's study and snoops around like it is hers. She finds photographs of Uma and her husband, with a beautiful housemaid hidden in between the books. After this discovery, Joy experiences more apparitions of the ghost. She walks to the door, but the chairs suddenly move by themselves and block it. She removes them after seeing her up close, staring at her from the bookshelf's top. She runs to get away from her, but she finds Nid standing by the door. The ghost appears suddenly and locks the door. She repeatedly attempts to open the door, but it won't budge. Nid then calls her, and it turns out she has already been out of the room. Joy faces the ghost as she looks back, but she quickly takes Nid's hand and runs away with her. The other maids wake up as Joy and Nid inform Uma about the ghost. Joy lies that she finds the pictures on the floor while cleaning. The other maids take Nid back to her room as instructed by Uma, leaving Joy with her. Uma tells her that the woman in the photograph was just another maid who used to work for her. After that, Uma dismisses her, so Joy closes the doors and leaves. Seconds after that, Uma reminisces about a moment with the said maid, Ploy. The two are close since Ploy compliments Uma and comforts her about her marital problems whenever she can. Uma's relationship with her husband is cold as snow, as his manliness is threatened by Uma's family's power. She finds love, comfort, and peace in Ploy that her husband cannot give her. And not long after, the two ladies develop a romantic and even hormone relationship. The following day, Joy asks the head housemaid about how Ploy died. But instead of answering her, she reminds her of the most important rule and then dismisses the subject. So Joy asks the other maid instead, but she also refuses to talk about Ploy. She adds that Joy shouldn't believe Nid because she's a kid with a mental illness, which messes with her perception of reality. However, this only heightens her curiosity, so she asks the driver later that day. A flashback plays as the driver tells Joy what he can remember. Uma always has Ploy beside her whenever they're alone, as Ploy can take away her loneliness and make her forget her sorrows. Ploy is just not a maid anymore. She becomes Uma's companion. But Ploy later betrays Uma when she leaves the mansion without telling anyone. The driver ends the story there, so Joy takes the medicine plate for Nid. However, she finds Uma scolding Nid because of her drawings. After that, she leaves the room, too pissed off to pay attention to Joy. Joy enters the room, asking Nid about the drawings. She discovers that Nid drew her parents with Ploy. That's why Uma got pissed off. She waits as Uma smokes on her balcony, after taking the drawing from the compartment. Later that night, while looking through Nid's drawing, Joy overhears the husband apologizing to Ploy. She follows his voice, leading to the study room. After taking Nid's drawing from her hand, the husband orders her to leave. After that, he takes out a photograph from his book, prompting him to reminisce about a memory. In fact, Uma and her husband pretend to be the perfect couple before their guests, but they're back into their loveless marriage after attending social events. The husband only focuses on his work and making his name stand out in the business world, while Uma wants to have a kid but fails many times. To divert his attention, the husband engages in a sexual relationship with Ploy. Later that night, while Joy asks questions to Nid about the maid, Ploy suddenly appears and takes her to the past. It turns out, Ploy gets pregnant after her sexual relationship with the husband, who pitches to Uma that it's a good idea to have a kid in their home. Uma insults him as he had nothing when they started, but now he has taken everything from her. Uma remains silent as Ploy continues with the pregnancy until she finally gives birth. One day, Ploy's preparing the tub to bathe her baby, Nid, but she accidentally hits her head in the tub after slipping on the soapy floor. Joy cries in sorrow as she remembers her older sister, who turns out to be Ploy. Ploy had to leave them and work for the family so they could get by. Even though their age gap is huge, Joy and her sister remain close. Ploy constantly sends her letters, updating her about her life in the mansion. After hitting her head, Ploy cannot move at all. But instead of helping her, Uma just stands there before closing the door, possibly driven by her jealousy over Ploy's relationship with her husband. When they find her, Ploy is not breathing anymore. The workers wrap her body in plastic and bury her in the backyard. The take to the past ends there, and Joy returns to the present. Joy bursts into tears while singing the lullaby that Ploy used to sing to her. She shed more tears after seeing her sister, who's also emotional as she sings along with her. For one last time, Ploy shows her what really happened to her. While they're burying her in the rain, the workers overlook the fact that Ploy has begun breathing and moving again. But no one wants to help her, because they know what the family really wants is not Ploy, but the child. The following day, Joy updates her psychiatrist about the recent events in her life. A flashback plays, revealing that Joy stabs her former foreigner employer after he made a sexual advance on her. After that, she kills his wife and lies that her employer has returned to his country. The flashback ends, and Joy lies to her psychiatrist that she doesn't have insomnia and anxiety anymore. She adds that she has found her older sister, who wants her to take care of her child. Deceived by her lies, the psychiatrist adjusts her medication and tells Joy that there's no harm if she takes care of the children because she's better now. Hours later, Joy finally returns to the mansion, where everyone's busy preparing for a social event organized by the husband. After changing into her uniform, Joy returns to the mansion carrying a duffel bag. The guests arrive wearing all white, while Uma and her husband stand out among them by wearing a combination of black and red clothing. While in the car, Joy confronts the driver on whether he told her everything he knew about Ploy. The driver replies that it's everything he knows before getting an asthma attack from the fireworks. Joy gives him his inhaler wearing gloves before putting plastic over his head. She fiercely holds the plastic, strangling and choking him to death at the same time. After that, she goes to the kitchen and confronts the other maid about lying about Ploy. Meanwhile, Uma instructs the head housemaid to tell the driver to prepare the car, as some guests need to leave. After that, Uma talks to her husband and thanks him for organizing her birthday party. On the other hand, Joy has tied and gagged the other maid. Joy leaves her in that state and leaves, carrying glasses filled with red wine. At that same time, the head housemaid discovers the driver's cold corpse in the car, but Joy appears and stabs her in the abdomen before she can inform everyone. After that, she puts the head housemaid in the car and leaves her there dying, gasping for air. She enters the mansion carrying the glasses of wine and serves them to the guests. Afterward, she returns to the kitchen, wears a white raincoat, and turns on the radio before slashing the maid's throat. The blood squirts right onto her face while the maid's body convulses. Joy removes the raincoat and goes to the bathroom, where she cleans the blood from her skin. She observes herself as she practices greeting Uma like the timid girl they knew. Meanwhile, the husband makes a heartfelt speech to the special one, Uma. Uma acts like she's touched by this, and she's all smiles as they sing happy birthday to her. After that, he excuses himself to take a brief phone call, leaving Uma in charge of the party. However, she leaves the party to Joy after Joy informs him that the head housemaid and the driver are together. Uma goes upstairs to their bedroom, and Joy follows her not long after and puts headphones on Nid's ears. After that, she returns downstairs and murders every guest, even those who already vomited blood from her poisoning the wine. The living room's filled with screams, blood, and cries from the unfortunate guests who got involved in Joy's revenge. After her killing spree downstairs, Joy goes upstairs to Uma, who remains calm despite Joy's bloody appearance. Uma cries as she shows Joy's letters to Ploy when she was young. Apparently, Uma knows she's Ploy's sister all along because of the letters and family picture. Suddenly, Uma slowly suffocates, and Joy tells Uma that her sister told her about the feeling of slowly suffocating to death. It's revealed that Joy has poisoned her tea even earlier. Uma attacks Joy and chokes her despite her state, but she gets distracted after hearing Ploy's voice. Joy takes this opportunity and repeatedly stabs her in the neck until she falls down. Even though she tries her best to hold on to life, the loss of blood and the poison win. Meanwhile, while he begins to suffocate to death, the husband sees Ploy's apparition. He gives his best and goes downstairs to follow her, ignoring the bodies lying on the floor. He opens the doors, only to find their property back in flames. The husband imagines Joy as Ploy, so he doesn't notice the knife in her hand. She repeatedly stabs him, every plunge of the knife filled with anger and vengeance, and she ends his life by plunging the knife into his chin and slashing it. The film ends with Joy taking Nid outside to be her new mother. Joy bursts into tears as she finally avenges her sister's death. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.